Friday, April 29th, 2022. So let's talk a little bit about grooming, which is what the GOP is throwing around as a new catchphrase, basically asserting that the mere mention or acknowledgement of homosexuals or transgendered people is somehow encouraging children to question their gender identity or become homosexual. That's really what they're saying, which is absolute bullshit. The whole idea of inclusiveness and to let children from different families or people that are already marginalized, to allow them the opportunity to be seen and understood and accepted, that this is a part of life. Homosexuality and transgenderism, is that a word, are facts, and they are normal. I don't like to use that word, but that there is nothing shameful or about either of those things. And so this is the GOP putting people who are already marginalized at further risk by continuing to use them as pawns in their little culture wars. And it's really disgusting. The whole idea of grooming is really about it's a sexual predatory act about conditioning someone ultimately to get them to do what you want, to succumb to you. And it, in no way does normalizing homosexuality or transgenderism, I guess we're just gonna use that as a word, in any way conditioning anyone. If there's any kind of conditioning going on or grooming, it's from the heterosexual world, which sexualizes children way more than any LGBTQ plus community does. When straight people asking a 5-year-old boy, "You got a girlfriend yet?" What the fuck do you think that is? Like, that's that whole thing, and the fact that we are, as people, inundated with themes and the whole concept that your entire existence needs to be working towards finding a partner. And in the heterosexual world, that's an opposite sex partner. Everything is about that. And and whether you're gay or you're straight, the whole concept is all about trying to find a partner, which I think is just bullshit. And we need to start normalizing singlehood. But because people, that whole idea that you can't be complete unless you have a partner is fucking bullshit. But the point is that if anybody is doing the grooming, it's the whole heteronormative society around coupling up, and they start that from the get-go. The gender colors for babies, the pink and the blue, the boys get trucks and girls get dresses and dolls, and it's all so ingrained in their psyche to put that heteronormative pattern onto children. And again, everything that the GOP ever does is projection, right? So this whole idea that somehow just acknowledging homosexuals and transgendered people is somehow grooming them is such the opposite of what is actually happening. And all it does is create more confusion and shame, and it puts kids' lives at risk. It creates situations where people feel so much internal homophobia that they do all sorts of other things to try to mask it over. And that's where everyone was so mad at Colton Underwood because he went on that Bachelor show and then he came out as gay, and people were like, he never should have dated women. It's society that told him that he needed to do that, and his religion, but that's another thing. Um, and so to give people the space to be able to say that it's all valid is not really that difficult. And it boggles my mind how far the GOP is going in the other direction, to demonize people. And it it creates situations where people then have so much internalized homophobia and internal shame and self-hatred that they have to mask that in other ways. They become aggressive. They run for Congress and write laws that are anti-gay while they're giving blowjobs out in the rest stops. It's just like, and and it creates a person like Madison Cawthorn, who, I don't know if you've seen the photos of him. I don't know if it was a Halloween party or whatever. He was dressed in women's lingerie. There's now all of this evidence coming out that he's broken ethics rules by giving gifts to his roommate and congressional aide. Now they've seen on video of them touching each other, and it's like, okay. And I don't care. Who cares? Madison Cawthorn is gay. If he likes to wear women's lingerie, or if he just did it once, I'm not going to kink shame. I don't like. None of it is. That's the whole thing. Is like, it's all okay. But that when the GOP is bringing their own under ethics violations, they're mad at this kid, which makes me think that those coke-fueled orgies are true, and that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Is that he spoke the truth when he was supposed to keep that part quiet. Everything else about him in his rhetoric is disgusting, and he's not very bright. But I hope he finds some sort of peace. The problem is, it's hard to find peace when you're stuck in a machine and in a society that continually tells you you're not valid. So the GOP can go fuck themselves with its whole grooming idea. And, I think straight people need to look at themselves and ask themselves on a regular basis, and listen to the things that they say and how they interact with other people, and especially with children, and whether or not you're grooming them into heteronormativity, and putting them in terrible, awkward situations. What 5-year-old kid wants to answer the question about whether or not they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend? It's just kind of gross. So that's Friday, end of the month. Let's move on to May, shall we?